Hello friends, I'm already seeing in a lot of registrations coming up. A very good day to all who is now part of this first webinar series of the IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Award Trust. Thank you so much for taking part, and I welcome Mr. Suresh Lulla, sir, also to spearhead this entire session. But just before that, a small introduction to the entire program that we have initiated. This is specifically to help organizations and individuals to get a deeper understanding of the IMC RBNQA performance excellence model, starting with getting an introspection into the core values, which is the foundation for the performance excellence model. So that's the entire purpose with which we have initiated these series. And I'm Maya Desai, Director with the IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj Quality Awards. We are majorly into encouraging and making the organizations, Indian organizations, get an understanding of the RBNQA model, take it as a self-assessment tool, and present an interest in applying to the RBNQA awards. It's a yearly cycle. In fact, we just culminated with the 2019 cycle, and now we are very happy to take this forward for the 2020. So the first series begins with the ecosystem of organizations, a fresh perspective for performance excellence, the core value focus being systems perspective. And we have our mentor and co-chairman for the trust, Mr. Suresh Lulla, and we are very privileged to have him with us today, because he is the quality guru for India, I would say, and he has guided many organizations in this excellence journey. He is also the founder and managing director of Pimpro Consultants Private Limited. Mr. Lulla has been instrumental, as I said, in guiding organizations in the excellence journey. His expertise encompasses the entire gamut of benchmarking, process management, having a deeper understanding of the customer-centric processes for an organizations, and operations focus, and finally, understanding what is the effectiveness of your processes by seeing what are the results for an organization. So before I would not take much time of all of you, I request Mr. Suresh Lulla to please take this session forward and guide us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Yeah.
Welcome to all the delegates. This is our first webinar series, and we'll try and keep it as interesting as possible while getting clinically into a performance excellence model. May take 5 to 10 days course. This gives you a flavor of the depth to which you have to go for excellence. The title of my presentation is Ecosystem of Organizations. And the reason this has been selected is that the core values used to have systems perspective at the bottom of the list, and after 25 years of the model have been brought to top of the list. So there is a very strong reason to get a deeper understanding of what a systems perspective is. The IMC RBNQA, as we call it, Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Award, was established in 1996. While work on it commenced in 1994, but the first cycle happened in 1996, And at that time, industry was at the starting blocks of excellence. So we had demystified the criteria at that point in time to encourage organizations to move forward. But Indian industry was a rapid learner, and pretty soon we started mirroring the Baldrige criteria. The award is for performance excellence. Now, excellence is not just another word for quality. It's an evolved form of quality where a total organization has quality in their DNA. They support quality in every action they do in an organization. The model that we follow has 11 core values. Now, core values are like the character of an organization. They stay permanent. I like to give it a little additional dimension and say the core values are the soul of the model. The 7 criteria categories are the personality. They change with the changing times, changing environment, and get updated every year. Let's look at the core values. As mentioned earlier, the revised sequence of the core values is as follows, and systems, which was at the bottom of the list, is now at top of the list. Visionary leadership. Now, a leader must have a vision of what they want to make of the organization. And leadership here is not singular. It's the collective leadership of the top management. Customer-focused excellence? Yes, we believe customer defines quality. Customer is the final inspector. Customer pays your salary. We have to look at a customer-focused model. Valuing people. This is interesting because we say people are our asset. Do we remember that they are the only appreciating asset of your organization? All other assets depreciate. So within this system, how do you value your people? One of the most underemployed assets of an organization is the knowledge resident in the people. Or let's put it differently, the lessons learned. If we have the lessons learned, the knowledge, then we can respond to changing needs in the environment with agility, rapid, fast, faster, better, cheaper. Focus on success, of course, ultimately you need results. And results, let me put it differently, effectiveness precedes efficiency of processes. So focus on success, the results, is not just financial results. In fact, financial results is a fraction of it. You look at customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, community satisfaction, efficiency of processes, governance of leadership, yes, and financial results. Managing for innovation. I need to comment here. For the first 15 years of the model, this core value was simply managing for improvement. It is the only core value that got updated to managing for innovation. Over these years, all core values have been stable, but they have been reclassified this year. Managing by fact is you need facts, you need data, you need information. Data processed with tools gives you information, and that information ultimately, when applied, makes it knowledge. You have to bring the data first. Society, yes. How responsible are you to the society that surrounds your organization? The society has given you permission to exist, remember that. And unless the society is happy through probably job creation, skills enhancement, etc., they will be very uncomfortable with your presence. And of course, ethics in how you perform and transparency. And you are, the more the chances of approaching excellence. Ethics, I need not add anything more to that. We need ethics in our organization to win the trust of the people. And of course, we've got to deliver value to the customers and brilliant results. So now let's look at that first core value, systems perspective. We are organizations that are organized in silos. These silos have names. On the left end, you have purchase. In between, you have operations, accounting, etc. And finally, you have marketing at the right side. The big breakthrough that happened is when the Japanese realized that they should not invest money in capital, but outsource as much as they can. And about 80% of what you see as a customer comes from outsourced services, suppliers. Working with this kind of model, you have flexibility and agility in your processes. To the right, we have marketing interacting with the customer in the hope that we can delight the customer. The supplier is a supplier to the purchase department whom it perceives to be a customer. Does your purchase department function as a world-class customer? marketing is perceived as a supplier to a customer. Does marketing understand completely the promises it's making of its processes to the customer? In between purchase and marketing, we do processing. All this became the evolved model for a systems approach to an organization around the 1980s. This evolved model generated waste at all levels. At the organization level, at the supplier level, customer level, also the user level. This waste was part of the environment, or is part of the environment. The environment has natural resources that also feed into this model. Natural resources that are non-regenerative resources where you only extract, such as oil, minerals, generate waste. The regenerative resources, on the other hand, ensure clean air, drinkable water, fertile soil, and a stable climate. Now, the challenge for us is to move from non-regenerative to regenerative resources. Regenerative would be like solar energy, wind energy. The organization working within an environment impacts society. The waste impacts society. It creates stress in the people. It creates fear in people. It creates mistrust amongst the people. And there are conflicts. This society envelopes the environment, which in turn envelopes your organization. So what are we getting at? Managing all the components of your organization as a whole to meet your mission. Mission is the purpose of your existence. Mission is the purpose of your existence. To meet ongoing success, you need to work in harmony with the other elements. To deliver excellence, to become world-class. In addition, it gives you opportunities for innovative relationships. Innovative relationships are not complex. They, in fact, simplify. Continuing on demystification, understanding business attributes such as core competencies. I'd like you to think of any world-class organization in any part of the world. The core competencies of world-class organizations are their ability to understand customers, their ability to translate what they hear from customers into product design, and their ability to outsource. Does it match? Strategic objectives. Strategic objectives help you in fighting the tiger hills that stand between you and your vision. Strategic objectives. You you schedule your priorities. You schedule your priorities when you are talking of strategic objectives. But in action plans, you prioritize your schedule. In one, you schedule your priorities. In the other, you prioritize your schedule. You set quarterly targets, monthly targets, daily targets, etc. And there's a work system. The work system, it involves all the interdependent processes, one feeding into the other. It involves the activities that make up a process. It involves the tasks that make up activities. You have to see the systems of work. In all this, you also need to appreciate the internal customer needs. Internal customers are your asset. They are an appreciating asset, and they can make quality happen. Further, ensuring consistency in plans, processes. Now, do you do your strategic planning only for strategic goals? Or do you also do your strategic planning with goals for your core processes? The core processes that deliver to the customer. How do you define measures? Are they benchmarked? Are they precise? Are they accurate? And that defines the actions, which may be routine actions or projects. Individual components of the performance management system must operate in an interconnected, unified way with a win-win for each of the components. Now we've done a fair amount of theory. Let's put it in an example. I'll start with a fable. And the fable will demonstrate that all life forms on our planet are important. Public and private organizations, institutions can seamlessly collaborate if they share a passion for a common mission. The title of this fable is daughter with child. I have heard the story from an important member of the Kimpro fraternity again and again and again. And I can hear him many more times. He is a storyteller, Vivek Talwar. He explained in his story that the whale shark, how was it saved from extinction? The whale shark is a very mellow creation. It is about 50 feet long, 50 feet in length, and it weighs about 10 tons. So it's huge. In fact, it's the biggest creation on Earth. This whale shark lives on the shores of Australia. But every September to May, it swims all the way to the coastline of Saurashtra, where it comes to hatch and to procreate and, save the species. This mellow creature, for its size and usefulness, was a big business proposition for the fishermen of Saurashtra. They would kill this creation and they would make profit of it and live happily in that region. They, on an average, killed 1,200 whale sharks per year until the turn of the century. In 2001, the government of India declared a ban on killing and trading whale sharks. Soon thereafter, the managing director of a chemical plant in Gujarat took it upon himself to save the whale shark. He wanted a project that would be considered world-class for conservation. World-class, saving the largest creation on Earth, 10 tons, 50 feet long, and very mellow. So he tried to co-opt his employees, and they listened carefully. He also engaged with very unlikely partners. The Wildlife Trust of India. It's logical that they'd be there, but very unlikely that they would work. The Coast Guard, the Indian Navy, and the Ministry of Environment. Apart from giving finance, they also invested time. Invested time engaging the fisher folk with street plays, balloons, all kinds of communication that was appropriate for our fisher folk. But that change had its own majestic pace, and the miracle happened when a spiritual leader, Murari Babu, was co-opted. Murari Babu in his discourses, explained to them that when we have our daughter coming home with child, we welcome her and we make sure that she is happy and the child is delivered in a healthy manner, and her mental condition, her physical condition, everything is looked after with joy. This hit bullseye with the fisher folk. Today, they see the whale shark as a daughter and they protect it as they would have their own child. All life forms on our planet are important. Public and private organizations, institutions can seamlessly collaborate if they have the passion for a common mission. Seek commitment first. Change in behavior will follow. I'll just add over here. We tend to approach change with the ABC. Change your attitude to change your behavior to get your commitment. It never works. It has to be the other way around. CBA. Get the commitment first to save the whale shark. Define the change in behavior. And in good time, attitudes will also change. Customized communication for the target audience. Here we were with street plays, etc., balloons and flotillas to save the whale shark. An innovative solution can deliver major breakthroughs. All that happened here was Murari Babu. Define the means to hold the gains. Thank you. Over to you, Maya.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. I am sure all our participants had got a good learning from Mr. Suresh Lulla, and a lot of introspection need to be taken for your own organization. I would just like to sum it up that what we understood is the systems perspective now is showcasing an interconnected ecosystem of organizations that presents opportunities for new and possibly innovative relationships. So we should manage all our stakeholders and try to bring as many benefits from the opportunity that comes up with all these relationships. So we now throw it open to our participants for any questions. They will be coming on, but sir, I would like to, we request all the participants to use the Q&A section instead of the chat box. Sir, there has been a question that when there is a change in management, how does it impact the culture of the organizations in all various respects, be it workforce or your business relationships and all of that? So if you can throw some light into that perspective of a change in management in the organization impacting various areas.
Let me react in an interesting way, I would say. People are not stupid.
Okay.
People see what actions the leaders are doing. And they know from the prioritization what is important. Where is the leader investing time?
Okay.
In the plannings, in the reviews, and the grapevine. The grapevine sends the message down.
Okay.
People are aligned. People are aligned. They can see what's important.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to change the culture, make sure the leader has the priorities right and is seen to be investing, is seen to be walking the talk.
Yes.
People listen to what you say, they believe what you do.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sir. There's a question from Mr. Puneet Bhatnagar asking, how do we create a pull for process excellence in organization? Should I
How
repeat?
do you create a pull?
Pull for process excellence in the organization.
By incorporating innovation also in your process.
Oh, okay.
You have to think of a process as performing in terms of times faster, in terms of quality better, in terms of cost reduction and cost of poor quality.
Okay.
So faster, better, cheaper,
Okay.
and different. It's so easy to replicate, processes of your competitors.
Mm-hmm.
You may not even know your best practices.
Yeah. Okay.
But your competitors know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll find ways and means of replicating them and commoditizing your best practices.
Okay.
So that pull for excellence comes when you manage for innovation.
Okay.
And innovation is a right brain activity and is not restricted to your marketing and branding, but it has to be organization-wide.
Okay. Sir, a related question to innovation is from Mr. Rajgopal Mukundan. He's asking, how do we distinguish innovation from continuous improvements? And sir, if I may interrupt, there's a similar question from Mr. Rishabh Aditya asking that how do you influence an organization full of people who are average in education towards adopting the innovative culture? Is training the only solution? So, I mean, it's quite interlinked. So if you can just give some inputs on the innovation aspect for the organizations.
Yeah, a very underemployed asset I mentioned earlier is the knowledge resident in people. Now, your brain has a left side and a right side. A left side, which is logical thinking,
Yeah.
and right side, which is creative thinking.
Yeah. Okay.
We were born as creative thinkers. Think of your child. Think of little children in school. Are they creative in their solutions?
Hmm.
In schools, you're hammered with left brain activity, mathematics, science, biology, logic, etc. So you become a left brain thinker, and there's a great pride in saying, I'm a left brain thinker. I'm a logical person. Excuse me. So when you don't use your creative brain, it goes into dormancy. And improvement is a very logical activity where you do incremental improvements, continual quality improvement.
Okay.
In fact, it shouldn't be seen as something different at all. It should be part of your job design. It should be part of your performance appraisal.
Mhm.
There's nothing unique anymore about doing continual quality improvement. It's incremental. It takes time. And you have to make that habit of continual improvement.
Okay.
Now, most organizations have understood this. And when you look at the systems criteria of business or healthcare or education,
Mhm.
one of the requirements is continual improvement.
Yeah.
So, what about innovation? Innovation, excellence. You want to be different. You've got to learn to use your right brain in the space of work you control.
Hmm.
There are ways of doing this. There
Hmm.
will be resistance initially that why should an accountant be sitting here
Hmm.
in a group, or a lawyer sitting in a group, or a banker sitting in a group for creative thinking. You have creativity tools
Hmm.
which ignite your right brain, which help you ideate.
Okay.
And for where in the normal brainstorming with your left brain, you would have come up with 20 ideas
Hmm.
in say half an hour. With creativity tools, you can come up with 100 plus ideas in the same time.
Mhm.
Then comes the question, you've got to harvest these ideas and choose the one that you want to develop into a solution.
Okay.
That is innovation. The foundation is ideation.
Hmm.
And the people working on a process, right on the shop floor even,
Mhm.
can come up with far better ideas than we sitting in our cabins.
Yeah.
You have to walk the process. You've got to speak to them. You've got to get their ideas.
Hmm.
Every idea is not accepted. That's okay. 1 in 200 maybe.
Hmm.
If I may just extend this,
Mhm.
at Toyota, if they want to come up with a new idea, a
Mhm.
new or an innovation, they give the problem to multiple teams.
Okay.
Guess how many?
Mhm.
Close to 100.
Wow.
The same terms of reference are given to about 100. Then one is selected. Does
Mhm.
that mean the rest were bad? No. It's part of innovation. Every idea may not be accepted, but I will keep giving ideas
Hmm. Great.
for which you don't shoot the messenger when they come up with an idea.
Yeah.
The culture, the leadership culture has to be one very open to listening
Hmm. That's true. Yeah.
and internalizing. That was a long answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. And now two more questions, interesting ones. What is the strategic objective? How will it help in achieving excellence?
Come again?
What is a strategic objective? How will it help in achieving excellence? This is from Mr. Nilesh Zode. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The first step is to have a vision, right?
Yeah. True.
And defining a vision should be specific, observable,
Hmm.
measurable.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It should bring some fire in the belly, and it should be understood by the whole organization.
True.
The next step is to figure out where are you? What are our strengths, weaknesses?
Absolutely.
Then you have to identify what stands between me and the vision. Me and the vision. So your tiger hills that stand in between maybe cost of poor quality, maybe cycle time. You're getting the idea. Maybe our warranty costs are very high. So strategic goals are directed at these tiger hills. I will halve, or we will halve the cost of poor quality in the next 200 days. It's got to be a stretch. If you just move with quality and, it can become a farce. It's a total farce then. You're not seeing the bottom line benefits of quality.
Okay.
If your cost of poor quality is 1/3 your total cost for a failure rate of 1%, you have a hidden plant within your plant dedicated to creating waste. This waste doesn't have an alarm because you budgeted for it. And when it's budgeted for example, incoming inventory, why do you have it? Work in progress inventory, why do you have it? Finished goods inventory, why do you have it? And the whole system involves banks also. Banks give you loans against inventory, so you show more inventory. You're getting to be worse, but that doesn't matter to the bank. So it's directed at a tiger hill. And you need, a tiger hill is a critical success factor.
Yeah, sure.
Each of which may have 2 or 3 strategic goals. So overall, you'll have 10 strategic goals for a year.
Yeah, okay.
And the targets you're setting, you should have benchmarked around what is the best kind of performance. You're going to do better than the best. And most of these goals come from, what should I say, not the core of the business. These are the support processes, which are common in hotel and a hospital. Have generic practices. 80%, 70% are common.
Absolutely.
You have to move out of your industry to see the best and then set a goal that you're going to pursue.
Okay.
And the goal must have an owner. It shouldn't just be a goal for the organization. There has to be an owner.
Absolutely.
Who gets reviewed.
Okay. Thank you, sir. There's one more question, sir, from Mr. Karunanidhi. He has asked that in turbulent times, when quick change in organizational culture is necessary, how can the leadership drive it fast?
The change you're referring to is customer driven or climate?
It's not specified, sir. I would understand it both impact, right? So maybe you can give
customer wise, you have to be very proactive with your customers.
Yeah.
And based on the needs and the related process, just be flexible and agile on the process.
Okay.
But climate change, which is what the subject of our ecosystem now is, climate change is such a big subject And Greta has told you it's already too late now, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, sir. Yeah.
You've
And I
taken
think we should
her
be
childhood away from her. Now, everyone's trying to figure out how to introduce environmental environmental solutions. There won't be. We can't. We can only stop making the waste, but the damage we've done, we've done.
Mm. Yeah.
And we're seeing the climate. You know, Mother Earth is a customer for us. We haven't listened to her.
Mm.
We have got so much into our own profits that we want to make
Yes, sir.
that we're killing our mother.
Hmm.
So it's a very vast subject, and you know, this regenerative resources and non-regenerative resources. If you're in that business of non-regenerative, you better think twice.
Okay, sir. I think we have time for one more question, sir. How should the functional leaders, this is from Mr. Puneet Bhatnagar, how should the functional leaders be?
Just repeat, please.
Yes, sir. This is a question from Mr. Puneet Bhatnagar. He is asking, how should the functional leaders be convinced on the importance of process documentation in an agile environment?
How should they be convinced?
Yeah.
It's just pray for things to get worse.
Okay.
And they'll change.
Oh, okay, fine.
You know, you can, if they're not listening,
Oh,
just hope things get worse and they will listen then.
absolutely. Great. Okay, I think any more questions? Now I think whatever it would be, we will put it up on our YouTube channel, and we'll coordinate with Mr. Suresh Lulla and get the right answers to respond to you. Thank you so much, sir, for the absolute knowledge-driven session that you have given us. Thank you so much. And I thank all the participants also to have taken time off to attend this first webinar series of the IMC Ramakrishna Bajaj National Quality Award Trust. Thank you so much. I would just also inform that the 2020 cycle of our awards is already started, and you can register by the 30th of May, and your submissions can come to us by the 17th of August. So that's for the next cycle, 2020. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the webinars is going to be a monthly exercise. Towards the end of the month, we will have our series on various aspects of the core values and other interesting topics that create an impact on organizations across our country. So the next session would be on visionary leadership in changing times by Mr. Vivek Talwar, who is the founder of Chrysalis. He is, and like sir has already mentioned about him, he's an ex-startup person full of energy, vision, and knowledge that is so imperative to the performance excellence series for organizations that are interested in being part of the excellence journey. Thank you so much. See you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.